While Donald Trump left the country today, landing in Scotland to open a new golf course, back in New York, his lawyers once again lost a bid to derail his civil rape trial after the judge denied Joe Tacopina's request for a mistrial. Writer E. Jean Carroll took the stand for the third day. She was once again cross-examined by Tacopina, and she also defended her decision not to call the police after the attack she said took place. Testifying, quote, "Mr. Tacopina, I was born in 1943. I'm a member of the silent generation. Women like me were taught and trained to keep our chins up and to not complain." E. Jean Carroll finished her testimony this afternoon. The trial picks up again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Jane Manning served as a sex crimes prosecutor right here in New York. She is currently the director of the Women's Equal Justice Project, where she helps survivors of sexual assault navigate the criminal justice system. She joins me now. Jane, it's great to have you with us. What did you make of E. Jean Carroll's testimony? I mean, and did you find it compelling as somebody who has been on the front lines of this fight and then has heard the testimonies of women who have been abused and raped?
One of the things that was remarkable about E. Jean Carroll's testimony is how much her personality and character were able to emerge through her direct and cross-examination testimony. And she presented herself as a person who has always used humor and optimism to cope and to make life worth living. And it's a through line through her testimony. It's what got her into this mess was that she saw a situation that she thought would be funny and a lark and adventurous. After the assault was over, she called a friend, and when a friend urged her to report, she said, "This was 15 minutes of my life, and I just want to put it behind me." Even in her testimony, there were times when she diffused a situation using humor. And so the jury has seen that personality emerge. And so not only are there all of the reasons that E. Jean Carroll explained why she didn't report and come forward. I was ashamed. I thought it was my fault. I thought no one would believe me. I thought it would be a career-ending move to accuse a powerful man. But also, she describes herself, as you just said, as a member of that chin-up generation. And that personality emerged many times throughout her testimony. And I think if the jury has gotten a sense that they know sort of who Jean Carroll is and how she copes with life, it's going to connect a lot of the dots in her testimony.
Let me get your thoughts on Trump's defense attorney, Joe Tacopina. Our legal analyst, Lisa Rubin, who was in the courtroom today, tweeted out during the cross-examination, Tacopina implied that Carroll's tears during her testimony were fake because she never cried during her deposition or during multiple media interviews. What is your reaction to that? How do you view that defense tactic?
You know, his tactics today were a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know, go back to the issue of why she didn't call the police. Talk to her about why she has sometimes described herself as "I'm doing fine," if this is really what happened. I think he's hoping that something will stick. He asked her a lot of questions about how she behaved afterwards. Why did you go to a watch party with friends? You know, why did you watch The Apprentice? He's hoping that the jury will hear these questions and think that's not how a real rape victim would behave. Again, if they've bought into that idea of E. Jean Carroll as someone who goes on with her life, I don't think any of those questions are going to be dispositive. There was one moment in the cross-examination where Joe Tacopina raised a question about a Law and Order episode that aired in 2012, where someone was raped in a dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman's. His clear implication is that, oh, you got this idea from watching Law and Order SVU. E. Jean Carroll testified that she doesn't watch the show and she didn't know there was a storyline like that. If the jury has otherwise found E. Jean Carroll's testimony to be credible and compelling, I don't see that question to change anything. If they still had questions in their mind, and if this Law and Order issue raised any questions in their mind, what that's going to do is it's going to elevate the importance of her outcry witnesses, the two women that she spoke to immediately after the assault, or in the days after the assault, because they say that she confided in them in the mid-1990s, and if the jury believes them, then there's no way E. Jean's story could have come out of a 2012 plot if she was telling people about it in the mid-1990s.
Jane Manning, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your legal expertise in helping us make sense of this. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks.